Hey everybody, it's October 18th today. Looks like another beautiful day. It's still kind of windy. So far it's not quite as bad as it was yesterday, but it was really blowing yesterday. So another project that we've been working on around here since we finished chopping corn, kind of between corn chopping and corn picking, is my brother Paul has been working on stockpiling some firewood for me. That's one thing that I haven't been able to get ahead on. Initially, when we put in the first wood boiler for the house, it got put in like November, so I didn't have any stockpile at all. I was just burning it as I cut it, and that's pretty much what I've done since, all the way through. And some winters it works out fine, some winters it's a little bit of a challenge, but we've been able to get through and keep it going. Not too bad, but I've always wanted to get ahead, so he's figured this would be good time. It's beautiful weather and stuff, and a lot of this wood that's in this pile probably won't be ready to burn for this winter, but it's also able, while he's out cutting, to get dead stuff that is ready to burn and keep kind of a pile started at home too. So we got the 830 over here hooked onto my wood splitter. You've seen this splitter, some of you, when I bought it at that sale. I always wanted a bigger splitter. This furnace takes 3 foot, I think, firewood. My old furnace took 4 foot, so I wanted a big, long splitter. The one I had before only did, I think, 18-inch or something. So we extended the beam, but we had the same cylinder, so it was kind of, we had to block it and stuff, and it kind of a mess. So I got this. I had to put a valve on it, but I got it. I can't remember what I paid, but it was pretty cheap. And it's got a movable wedge, so you can set it for different lengths, which is kind of nice. It's got side tables, and it just runs off the tractor hydraulics. But he's got a pretty good pile started here so far. He's just been cutting up in this grove some trees around the fence and stuff in here. But we got a chunk of woods just down the road a little bit. There's a bunch of trees that in there that got to come down. There's some maple that are dying. There's some birch and popple that are dying. So they might as well come out of there. A lot of them are just getting old. The birch around here, you know, they get to a certain size and they just start to die. I don't think it's anything, I don't know that it's any kind of disease. I think it's just the life of a birch tree. But anyway, so what I want to do, he was just going to haul with his pickup back and forth, but I got this old dump truck here. I don't think I ran it. I haven't ran it at all this year, I don't think. We used it last year some, and used it when we had that rock picker here. We hauled rock with it. So I'll give you a little bit of a story on it. I bought this truck, I think I was about 16 when I bought this. I bought it from a friend of mine, but I bought it at his auction. It had a grain box on it, and it was pretty rough shape. The sides were pretty bad. They had just been using the flatbed. They had the sides off of it. But the flatbed was really long. I think it was probably 16 or 18 feet long. And it just didn't work good for dirt and stuff, and that's more what I wanted it for. So it's a 66 Ford F-600. It's got a 330 V8 in it, carbureted, of course. It doesn't really have brakes anymore, which so it doesn't go on the road other than just our little township road here occasionally. The emergency brake does work, so that's usually what we get it stopped with. And we got it when I first got it. We used it a lot. I hauled a lot of dirt with this. Me and Grandpa, we cleaned out corrals and stuff that hadn't been cleaned for years. There was a lot of heavy black dirt and rock and stuff, and as full as we could heap it up, it would haul and dump. Hauled a lot of gravel, sand back in, so it's definitely gotten I think $800 I paid for it. The box on it, I got that from a different neighbor who had a military chassis. Bought that for I think 50 bucks and put on there, so I think I had about $850 in the whole package. So it's definitely paid for that. But so like I said, I haven't had it running this year. I got some branches in there we loaded in last year, some of that storm damage stuff, and I just didn't get it hauled out. I had stuff seeded in fields I didn't want to drive across at the time, so we'll get that dumped out. We got to see if it will start first. I stuck a battery in it. I robbed a battery out of the 530 here. Stuck a battery in it. I'm sure it's going to need to prime the gas up to the carburetor, but usually this thing never lets me down. The throttle pedal sticks usually every time I start it when it's been sitting a while, so I probably got to lube that up some once I get it going, but we'll see if it'll fire up here. Okay, I didn't expect that. Now, before I turned the camera on, I did crank this thing over a few times just to make sure I had the battery connections good, but I didn't expect it to fire up that quick. So we'll get the throttle pedal moving here a little bit better, and we'll give it another go. So the throttle here, this sticks quite often, and where it sticks is here. So there's an aluminum plate here, I guess, bushing, that the shaft for the throttle goes up and it goes through the firewall, and it's got a linkage on the other side, and it always seizes up in this aluminum. So what I actually did last time is drilled a hole in here so I can actually get some penetrating oil in there. I should almost maybe screw a grease fitting in there or something, and because anytime you got, you know, steel going through aluminum, you're going to have an issue. And when you got something that has very limited brakes, you don't want the throttle sticking open. So we'll set you up here and I'll see if I can get this working through. I usually use the PB blaster, but I ran out of that, and my brother picked this up, and I've used this Deep Creek before too, and it actually seems to do pretty well, but it's 2-speed. You just cut this 2-speed cord because it doesn't work anyway. It's kind of in the way there. I'm gonna pump it too much, I'll probably flood it. I'm going to start this thing and pump it while I got it running so I don't flood it out too bad. We'll stick you guys under the hood here for a while, but see if it's still visible on here. Used to be pretty good, but oil bath air cleaner gets a little dirty. 330, 190 horsepower supposed to be. All right, we'll try it again. Well, there, it fired up pretty well. Like I said, it hasn't been running, well, it's probably been a year, I think, unless I've had it going this spring, but I don't think I ever started it this spring. But anyway, it idles a little high. The carburetor should probably be gone through. It once it gets warmed up, it idles a lot better, but it does idle a little bit high. But for the little bit I use it and what I use it for, it's pretty good. I also get a kick out of the instrument cluster on these old trucks, you know. 100 miles an hour, you know, but it's got all the gauges work, you know. I run about 25-30 pounds of oil pressure when I had it going. Fuel gauge works yet, and temperature gauge. I don't know if this thing would go 100 miles an hour if it was going downhill, being pushed by something. It probably wouldn't hit 100 miles an hour, but it's pretty neat to see. So anyway, I'm gonna get this warmed up and we'll go dump this brush out, and then we'll just leave it up there for Paul to load. He can bring the skid steer up there when he gets here. Not really the best funnel for this angle. It'll work. All right, we're out here on the edge of the cornfield. This is a spot in the woods where we're cutting actually a bunch of trees I cut this spring and piled up over here. They're actually probably getting dry enough to burn. But what we're doing, there's a hill in here that's got some pretty decent gravel in it. So we're my uncle's got a backhoe, so we're gonna clear out some of these trees and not go hog wild and make a big pit out of it, but just some place to get some fill dirt and stuff. He's got a shed he's putting up. He needed some fill and stuff, and we got a little pit in the pasture too, but I don't really want to take too much more out of there. But see, like this big popple here, that's dead. Couple birch over here that are dead or starting to die. Couple maple in here that are really good. We're going to leave them. There's a couple that are starting to die. We'll probably take them out. He's got a birch here that he pushed down that was kind of right in the middle of where we wanted to go. So yeah, I'll get the truck down in here, and then Paul gets here, he can take the skid steer up and get a little bigger load that way. But I'm going to unload. I got them branches in the back. I got a brush pile here, so I'll just back up and we'll get those unloaded. Well, we're supposed to be stuck in there because they've been sitting in there. Don't go underneath there, just stay back.
They came out.
Did it go all out? Is it empty? Go around the back. Pretty much all on there?
It's just a little bit on the tailgate, yeah.
Okay. Oh, what's that there? Perfect. All right, I'm going to pull it down to the bottom of the hill.
Okay. That's a good ski stand.
Hey everybody, it's a couple days later. We got some rain over the weekend, which was nice. I didn't get a lot done over the weekend, but it was nice to get the rain. We definitely needed it. Keep some of the dust down and wet the grass down some. It was getting pretty bad for fires, which it still is. It's supposed to be pretty sunny again today, so that'll dry things out some again, but it was nice to get a little shot of rain. So anyway, today I'm going to be working on, I got the belt for the uni that actually showed up next day after I ordered it. I got that from D Implement down in Waukon, Iowa there. So if you need any uni parts, I think that's probably the place to go. I'm sure a lot of you already know that because they're, I think, a pretty big name in the world of the uni system yet, but they did have a belt. It was not a cheap belt, but they did have one. So we got that. I got to get that on today. But first, I am going to unload this load of firewood Paul cut the other day. Nice load of birch. Got that brought home, but I had to move a couple things over by the splitter, so I didn't have a chance to unload it. So we'll get that unloaded, and then we'll get that belt on.